Brandon Ingram may have been the better player for the course of this season, but has Devonte Graham been the most improved player? Myself and Colin are going to try to figure it out. Hey everybody, welcome to Amateur Hour Sports. My name is Jacob. I've got Colin with me today to talk about the MIP race. And myself and Deshaun earlier in the season had a bit of a heated discussion regarding this. I was vouching for Devonte Graham, whereas Deshaun was on the opposite end as usual. But today me and Colin are going to figure it out because we think the NBA season might be coming to at least the regular season may be coming to an end.
Yep.
So Colin, who do you think has been the most improved player this season?
You know, it's really tough, and I think it does come down to Devonte Graham and Brandon Ingram. If I had to pick one, though, I would probably say Devonte Graham. I think overall, Brandon Ingram's a way better player than Devonte Graham is.
Way better.
But that's not what the award is. Looking at where Devonte Graham was last year, he was back and forth from the G League last year. He was only averaging like 2 or 3 points. And this year, he has been a bright spot on the Charlotte Hornets, which just seems to be like a pit of just darkness.
Yeah, he makes this team, I guess, acceptable instead of complete
garbage.
Dumpster fire.
I thought this team was going to be complete trash at the beginning of the season, and Devonte Graham is the only thing that kind of kept that prediction from coming to light. But again, that's not taking anything away from Brandon Ingram. That guy's actually hooping.
Oh, absolutely.
That guy's hooping, and I think we all kind of knew this was coming from Ingram. We all kind of expected this.
I didn't expect him to be this good, man.
He was the number 2 overall pick.
I know, but I didn't expect him to be this good this season.
Okay, I don't think people expect him to be this good right now this season. I think people, like coming into the draft, people saw what he could be. And I think people saw that he could become what he is now.
Well,
but it's just interesting to see that now he's sort of, it just took him a little bit longer to, find his groove. But going back to Devonte Graham, the guy averaged 4.5 points last year and only played about 14 minutes. To now, he's starting pretty much every single game for the Hornets, 35 minutes a game, 18 points, 7.5 assists. And,
he's got the absolute green light to shoot whenever he wants.
And it's pretty interesting that he has been the guy to take over the offense, and he's not doing a bad job of it at all, but just considering that the team he's on, and I don't think that there's much more ceiling for Graham. I think I don't think he's gonna be.
I think he can polish up his field goal percentage because 38% from the field is not very flattering.
No,
37% from 3 is very nice, especially when you're shooting nine times a game.
On 15 attempts, 38% from the field is probably not gonna cut it.
Yeah, but mind you, this is he's finally coming along here after being pretty formidable in college hoops. This was a big jump. I think we could see him an even bigger jump. What I really like about what I'm seeing from Devonte Graham's game is that it's not just volume scoring because he's shooting a lot. 7.5 assists is pretty impressive.
For a second-year guard.
For a second-year guard,
that's very good.
On the Hornets, mind you.
That's very good. If you put some better players around him, you could definitely see those numbers breaking into the 8 or 9s.
Yeah.
Easily.
No doubt Brandon Ingram is by far the better player
100%.
than Devonte Graham. It's just that Devonte Graham was so bad last year. And when it comes to the MIP award, it comes to your benefit that you were bad last year because you can just be so much better than next year. And the fact of the matter is, Brandon Ingram is going from 18 points per game to 24 points per game. And that is tremendous. That is a crazy jump. But Devonte Graham, like you said, he's gone from 4.5 points to over 18 points per game. And it's not
That's
just
crazy,
that. Hey, his field goal percentage has improved, where Brandon Ingram's field goal percentage has regressed. Obviously, he's
shooting the 3 better.
He's shooting the 3 better, but his field goal percentage has regressed.
His free throws skyrocketed.
His free throws did skyrocket. Devonte Graham improved in free throw percentage. He improved in his field goal percentage, though it's still not great at 38%. He jumped up in 3-point percentage by 90%, basically.
Yeah.
Over 90%, shooting 37% from 3. The assists have gone from 2.6 to 7.5. Like, the improvement is tremendous.
If you look up the most improved definition in the dictionary, you would see this.
Yeah. I think that one of the most insane, most improved seasons I have ever seen is when CJ McCollum won the award. He went from he went from like 6 points per game to all of a sudden was this lethal 3-point shooter, putting up 20 points per game, and all of a sudden, he's a bit of an NBA star. I think Zach Randolph as well has an insane most improved season.
That's funny
as well. Yeah, just looking at the stats now, CJ McCollum went 1 year from 6.8 points per game to 20.8 points per game. Got up to 42% from 3, got up to 45% from the field. Way more assists. And looking at Zach Randolph, 8.4 points, and he shot up to 20 points the very next season. So there's some tremendous MIP. I mean, there's obviously probably some other ones, but Devonte Graham has been no joke in this category.
Yeah, I agree.
I get the argument for Brandon Ingram, but I mean, just looking...
all the signs are there for Graham.
Yeah, like, unfortunately, Brandon Ingram, 18 points per game, shooting almost 50% from the field last year and 33% from 3. It's going to be very difficult to boost your stats enough to be able to win this award. And it's odd that, we talked a lot about who could be the MIP this season, and you, me, and Roman talked about it, and none of us had these two guys. Like,
no,
neither of these guys were even in our thoughts. Like,
no.
Lonzo Ball was on my mind. DeJounte Murray, how bad, how underwhelming has he been this season?
That was an underwhelming pick, to say the least.
You and me were adamant that it was going to be DeJounte Murray this year, and he's gone from 8.1 points to 10.7. Like, he has really not flourished with this San Antonio team.
He is coming off of a crazy injury this season. You could argue that.
You're right.
He's not like a true scorer, I would say. I don't think you could look at him and say
he's a defensive guy.
Like, his strength is scoring.
But we had him as our MVP, our MIP pick, and it has not panned out, to say the least. I had OG Anunoby as one of the potential MIP picks, and he's been a lot better this season, just not quite to the level of these guys.
think OG would be so sick if he had a bigger role. Like, if he was on a different team with a bigger role, I feel like OG would be nice.
I think, what's an insane about OG Anunoby is that he can literally guard all 5 positions. Like, when the Raptors played the Jazz and we didn't have Gasol, and I think Ibaka wasn't playing, I think OG was D'ing up Rudy Gobert. And I think Rudy Gobert only had 2 points in that game.
Wow. I remember when we were playing Minnesota, OG was D'ing up Karl-Anthony Towns.
Yeah, that was another one I was going to bring up. We started with Rondé at the 5, but OG was the guy guarding Cat.
Yeah.
Like, OG can guard all 5 positions. That's something to be said about OG.
Big boy.
And I think, if he starts cleaning up his field percentage, we could see him. We could have seen him in the MIP conversation, but he's still been great. Mm-hmm. But these two guys that we're talking about right now, it's between them two, and if Deshaun is listening, he's probably like fucking cursing his words right now, getting ready to yell at me. But Devonte Graham has just been so much better than before. You can't, unfortunately.
There's nothing you can argue for that.
Fortunately for Brandon Ingram, like this, we'll look back on this as one of the great MIP seasons, I think, because he's from 4 points to 18.
I think we'll look back at it. I think we'll look back at it if he continues this.
Yes.
If he continues, staying around where he is, and maybe improves.
What do you think the future has in store for Devonte Graham?
I mean, I don't know if his ceiling can go much higher, considering the fact that he's on Charlotte, and there's obviously possibility that he can, rise into an elite point guard. I think, like, if you're in the NBA, I don't think that's an unrealistic opportunity, but I could see him, 20 points, 8 assists maybe. I don't know if we'll see him get too much better, but I'm rooting for the kid, definitely.
Well, he's 24. He kind of reminds me of Buddy Hield in terms of his age, coming on at about 24. Not playing tremendously, but then all of a sudden getting a lot better. I think that the problem is the Charlotte Hornets are allergic to good contracts, so Devonte Graham's going to make a lot of money to stay in Charlotte, and if I'm the kid...
Who knows if it'll be a good, like, watch him get signed to, like, a 4-year, like, $25 million.
Yeah.
The Hornets would be dumb enough to give
4 year, $25 million a year. I was thinking 4 years, $80 million. They'd probably give him.
The Hornets would be dumb enough to give him that. Hey, man, who knows?
Yeah, so I think he ends up staying in Charlotte, and I don't see Charlotte ever getting good for the foreseeable future. And as a result, I don't think he's going to get much better than this. I think he'll clean up his field goal percentage a bit, but I think he's like a 41% from the field kind of guy for his career.
I think he will be like a Mike Conley kind of player. Definitely above average point guard.
Not offensively, not defensively.
Yeah, like not elite, maybe kind of hovering around there, but a very good point guard.
Okay. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I can see him making waves in the NBA throughout his career. But we'll end it there. Let us know what you think about the MIP race. All the links are in the description of the podcast or the video if you want to check out anything amateur sports related. But we're posting every single day right now with the show, so stay up to date with the content. Follow us, subscribe, and we will see you again for another episode.